Hey folks! If you missed the last videos in this series, make sure to check the links in the description. Lee Si-won, one of the upper ranks in the Fire Bear gang, slaps Min-woo, who is in charge of the person that attacked Ji-young. Si-won asks, "Why are you trembling so much?" As they leave, they throw away all the evidence, kicking a barrel into the ocean. He gets a call from Yang Jae-wook, asking to meet up tomorrow. But he hears seagulls in the background and wonders if he's too late because they disposed of the evidence the next day. Ji-young leaves for school. The uncle secretly follows him from behind as they have a meeting to ensure the young master is constantly watched over. Ji-young notices Jong Sok and says hello. He also notices the uncles in the background but keeps his mouth shut. They also run into Lee Yeji and Jong Yoon as they walk together. They bump into Won Ik, who tells them to watch where they are going. Ji-young recognizes him and extends his hand to greet him. He mentions that Myung-jun has something to tell him and requests to speak in private as they shake hands. He smirks and begins squeezing it, asking why he's the one here and if Myung-jun has something to tell him. He tells him to come here himself before crushing his hand and sending him to his knees. He begins to flee, but Ji-young pursues him. As he arrives in an alleyway to his friends, Ji-young is right behind him, wondering why Sang Ji-yu is being extorted. As one of them tries to punch Ji-young, he dodges it and pummels him in the face, sending him to the floor. Jong Sok arrives, and they all begin to panic. As Ji-young prepares to fight them, Myung-jun pulls up on his bike, asking to talk to Ji-young. He tells his friends to leave, as he does not want to fight and only wants to talk. Sang Ji-yu encourages Ji-young to fight them all, which irritates Lee Yeji to the point where he starts talking back to her and walks away. He mentions that he wants to form an alliance with them, surprising them. Jong Sok believes that it will be beneficial to them. Myung-jun leaves, telling them to think about it. Ji-young, disappointed that he did not get to fight Myung-jun, calms down and walks to school. At school, the atmosphere has completely changed. They discover that the news of Shin Jong-chul and his goons had spread, and that he had been expelled. The rumors spread to other schools, and Ji-young has now become the boss of the second year. As they enter the classroom, Lee Yeji tells him to sit next to her, as she has something to tell him about the Super Asshole Alliance. She informs him about the bullies at other schools and their tactics. He thanks her while Sang Ji-yu watches, feeling annoyed. He offers to take her out to eat as a way of showing gratitude. Soo-jin enters the classroom, glances at Ji-young, sees that he is with Lee Yeji, and then looks away, ignoring Ji-young before leaving the classroom. Ji-young follows her, but Soo-jin continues to ignore him, thinking about how he lied to her. He returns to class, telling Lee Yeji that he is fine, but it's clear that he is not. He had only become a bad person for Soo-jin, and he is unsure of what to do now. As the lesson is over, she asks him to eat together, where he invites the whole squad, annoying her as she wanted to spend some time alone with Ji-young only. Jong Sok and Jong Yoon knew what was going on. As they were eating, Ji-young receives a message from his uncle asking him to return home early. As they say their goodbyes, Lee Yeji is disappointed that they did not get to spend much time together. However, he ends up asking her to meet with him later to discuss the Super Asshole Alliance. She suggests meeting at her house, which he agrees to. Ji-young arrives at his house, where his father greets him, proud that he has taken over the second years. He gives him a gift, which turns out to be a knife carved with his name. His father takes pictures of him holding the knife as he is so proud of him. Meanwhile, Si-won is annoyed that Yang Jae-wook was having a good time babysitting the young master while he got his hands dirty. His father tells him to go beyond the second year, to which he agrees as he leaves with Si-won. Si-won is considering what to do if Jae-wook surpasses him in the rankings. He has devised another plan to prevent Jae-wook from ranking up with his recent success with the young master. Later that night, Lee Yeji is cleaning the house for Ji-young's arrival when suddenly Do Park enters, even though she told him not to come. When he finds out Ji-young is coming, he offers to help her clean up. Once they are finished cleaning, she receives a call from Ji-young, informing her that he is on his way. When he arrives at the door, Lee Yeji immediately opens it and lets him in. They go into her room, and he realizes this is the first time he has been in a girl's room. She begins by explaining the Super Asshole Alliance, mentioning Jo Eun-ho, a bully basketball player who was lost by her brother Do Park. She then tells him about Majin High School, to which he responds by saying to tell him more tomorrow as he walks away. She offers to drop him off, but he says he can walk alone, which irritates Lee Yeji because he is so clueless. On his way home, Guy Sang is waiting at the door, asking where he went. He says he went to Lee Yeji's house, and he is shocked that he wore clothes like that and not some of the cool drip clothes the uncle has. The next day, he prepares to leave for school. While Jo Eun-ho plays basketball and wonders when Ji-young will arrive, On his way to school, he notices Jong Sok. Jong Sok mentions that the people around him are gossiping about him, but Ji-young is unconcerned and will focus on beating up the bullies. When they arrive at the basketball court, they see Jo Eun-ho. He proposes that they form an alliance, but Ji-young declines. They have a one-on-one fight as everyone watches, and Jo Eun-ho passes the ball to Ji-young, distracting him and causing him to be punched in the face. Ji-young realizes he needs to close the gap, but he passes the ball again, resulting in him being punched in the face once more. As he tries again, he tricks Ji-young, causing him to get punched in the face once more. Ji-young, having had enough, pops the basketball with his bare hands, shocking everyone. Jo Eun-ho is in a state of panic, wondering if it's even possible to burst a basketball with your bare hands. Ji-young approaches him as it is now his turn. As Jo Eun-ho attempts to punch him, Ji-young places the popped basketball on his head, completely covering his face before pummeling him in the face. Ji-young grabs his head and asks him what he can see, which is nothing, and he mentions that this will be his future. At which point, Ji-young begins his new technique, ultra-speed dribble, constantly tossing his head side to side. The rest of the bullies are worried, thinking it's overkill. As one of them tries to stop Ji-young, Jong Sok prevents him. Ji-young, exhausted, finally stops. Do Park and the third-year council president were watching from the rooftop. Ji-young tells the rest of the bullies to come at him, but they are hesitant and stand back. He tells them that because they are in the same school, he will beat them up last, which frustrates a few of them. Suddenly, one of the bullies bows to them and asks for an alliance, prompting the rest to follow. Jong Sok tells Ji-young to remember the advice he gave him, prompting him to agree that they can help take down the Super Asshole Alliance. They shake on it, where one of the bullies warns him not to, but he does it anyway, surprising Ji-young as they walk away. Do Park and the council president are watching, and Do Park mentions that he will invite him to the rooftop to carry out his plan. Now on the rooftop, he explains that he is the leader of the Super Asshole Alliance and that if he defeats him, he will become the boss of Ji-ran High School. As he prepares to fight Do Park, he mentions that he can't fight him because he secretly promised Gai Sang that he would protect the young master and allow him to become the boss so that he could become a family member of the Fire Bear Gang. He tells him to hit him, and he'll make up a rumor that he lost. Ji-young is reluctant to carry out the hit, so Do Park goes with Plan B and hits himself in the face, surprising Ji-young and Jong Yoon, who is secretly watching. As he severely beats himself up, he announces that Ji-young is the new leader of Ji-ran High. As he leaves, the council president is waiting at the stairs to inform him that there is no turning back. He is okay with it as it's all part of his plan. Ji-young is now the boss of Ji-ran High. Meanwhile, a few of the bullies take the basketball off Jo Eun-ho's head, and it's clear from his face that he has been severely beaten. As Do Park walks down the hall, all bruised and beaten, the students are shocked. He makes sure to let everyone know that Ji-young was responsible for his injuries. This revelation surprises everyone, and rumors of Ji-young's new position as the leader of the school spread quickly throughout the entire school community. It turns out that Jong Yoon, who had been secretly observing the situation, had made contact with Gai Sang a few days prior. In exchange for sharing information about Ji-young's school life, Jong Yoon was given some financial support and protection. He sends Gai Sang the message that Ji-young has become the school boss. He also informs Jae-wook, who passes the information to his father, who is proud of the news. As Ji-young walks down the hall, everyone is whispering and talking about him, moving out of his way. Meanwhile, Lee Yeji is dreaming about Ji-young and is awakened by a phone call from her friends who inform her that Do Park fought Ji-young, making her panic. She phones Do Park, inquiring about his whereabouts before rushing to see him in person. She notices his face is badly bruised and wonders if he truly fought with Ji-young. She asks him if he hit Ji-young, and upon receiving confirmation, punches him in the face and runs out, feeling anxious and worried that Ji-young might have been hurt. As Ji-young exits the room, he notices Lee Yeji, who is crying. She rushes to embrace him and pleads for him to hug her back. Later, as class begins, their interactions become awkward and tense due to the hug. The awkwardness between Ji-young and Lee Yeji is so noticeable that it begins to attract attention from their classmates. During class, he receives a phone call from Soo Jin and abruptly leaves to meet her. She reveals to him that her abusive father is terminally ill and has less than a month to live. Ji-young is shocked and saddened and attempts to comfort her. Do Park, who happens to be nearby, observes the interaction and becomes frustrated as he hadn't realized there could be competition for Ji-young's love. As Ji-young and Soo Jin walk together, she inquires if he will always be there to support her during difficult times. Myung-jun, who is riding his bike, notices them and pulls over. Ji-young gives him his number and tells him they will talk later, as he is currently busy. Myung Jun then proceeds to flirt with Soo Jin and requests her phone number, causing Ji-young to feel frustrated. Curious about what comes next? Click on this video to continue, and don't forget to like and subscribe.